Do you even know they're lying to you? Let. I'm afraid that isn't how this works. Yes. That is a real name. No. I am simply collecting what is mine, archivist. The one who enters my domain. What a fascinating question. Does your hand in any way own your stomach? In any case, it doesn't matter. The Wanderer had a brief respite, but it's over now. Yes. Did you notice which door she left through? There has never been a door there, archivist. Your mind plays tricks on you. No? Are you going to attack me?
You.
I am not a who, archivist. I am a what? A who requires a degree of identity I can't ever attain. There is no such thing as a real name.
What?
I am talking about myself. It's not something I'm used to doing, so I'm sorry if I'm not very good at it. I wanted to talk to you. I intervened to save you before. I'm interested in what happens next. I'm normally neutral, yes, but the loss of this place would have unbalanced the struggle too early. I'm keen to see how it progresses. Then I will say nothing further. I wouldn't wish to tarnish your ignorance prematurely. Goodbye, archivist. That was very stupid.
What do you want?
There's no other way out of this room, you know.
What?
You don't have time to escape before they get here. Finding it quite effectively. Even with all the protections you have here.
No.
I doubt you can survive them now. You need a door.
No, I just, I need, shit!
Yes, there is. No.
Who are you?
I'm Michael. Did the archivist not tell you about me?
No.
Good. Surprises are better. Probably watching the archivist die. Maybe not. Either way is amusing. I think it's called a sport.
What?
I think I might also kill you. It would be easier than killing the archivist. None of you are protected down here.
No, now, hang on.
You are going to try and help him. And I want to see what happens without you there.
Martin?
No, okay, because there's two of us and there's one of you, okay?
Martin.
He's not killing anyone.
Martin, look at his hands. Oh, go.
Miss Robinson, I found Mr. Vargas' statement that you asked for. Well, I found the translation. I already had the original, but, you know, I didn't think you'd want it in Spanish. Unless you speak Spanish.
Oh.
Sure. Well, was there anything else that you needed? Right, well, if you need me, they're installing that climate-controlled storage, that thing, over the weekend. So I'm just getting all that together.
Yes, I remember.
Right. Well, call me if you need anything.
Thank you, Michael. I will. Right.
Oh, archivist, what have you done now? It's almost sad to see you like this. Almost. I've come to a decision, archivist. I'm going to kill you. It's earlier than I had hoped, but that's life, I suppose. Your life. Before I do, however, I want you to understand, even if it does go against my nature. So, ask your questions.
What?
Ask me. The eye watches, and the stranger conceals, but me, I lie, archivist. I am the throat of delusion incarnate. They can't hide you from me. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Except perhaps that I would like it to fail. I already said to kill you. But because I don't want the circus to win, and I don't want the archives to either. Killing you myself, it's the best of both. And of course there's revenge. I am Michael. I was not always Michael. I do not want to be Michael. Being Michael stole the only purpose I have ever known. No.
Heard you.
You heard Michael.
What the hell are you
Quiet, archivist. The cramped casket sings loud, but not loud enough to drown out screaming. The Michael on that tape was not me. When that person was Michael, I was something else. And now I am Michael, and that person is gone. No more than he became me. It is rare that someone I take finds their way into being me, but it does happen. And Michael had help.
What happened?
A statement. Of course. Is your recorder running? Yes? Say it, archivist. The last day of the archivist's life.
Statement begins.
How far back should it go? To the beginning of me? Centuries? Millennia? How do you define the start of your being when in some ways you have always been? Time is difficult to form. Michael Shelley, though, he is easier to keep track of. He was born, he was pointless, and he should have died. But before that could happen, he went to work for the Magnus Institute, that ivory tower keeping its prisoners ignorant in pursuit of knowledge. A dungeon full of idiot watchers, and Michael Shelley was no exception. When he was in school, he lost a friend to something like me. His friend was named Ryan, but those in power simply called him schizophrenic. I don't know if he was, but it doesn't matter. He was so dreadfully afraid his world wasn't real that to make it so was almost nothing. Michael was there when he was taken. He never got over what he saw or didn't see. After much searching and despair, it drove him into the waiting arms of the Institute, where he met Gertrude Robinson, the archivist. Even being what I am, I have rarely seen anyone so adept at distorting the truth as Gertrude Robinson. Michael was protective of the frail old woman he believed her to be, so delicate, so forgetful, yet gently wise. He cared for her, he trusted her, and she fed him to me. She made him me to destroy our transcendence, and she did not hesitate. Poor Michael. He had been on trips for the Institute before, conferences, investigations. Gertrude had made sure that all her assistants were ready. that none of them would be suspicious if they were told they were going abroad for work. So there was no doubt in his mind, no concern, when she told him that they were travelling to Russia. Perhaps if he'd have stopped to look up their destination, he might have discovered that there was no such place as Zemlya Sannikova. But he did not. He trusted her. Even when they arrived in Dixon, at the edge of the Kara Sea, and they were picked up by a quiet sea captain called Peter Lucas, even then he trusted her. They travelled north, through cold far more bitter than any Michael had even conceived possible. And you know what he worried about? He worried about Gertrude Robinson, about how this poor old woman might cope with the chill. But now she was like iron and walked with a purpose that Michael had never before seen in her. The water turned to ice as the Arctic approached, and Gertrude's eyes turned cold. Then, at last, he began to be afraid. He asked her where they were going, and was told again, Zemlya Sannikova, Sannikov land. There was a great evil, she said, and Michael was going to help her fight it. Am I evil, archivist? Is a thing evil when it simply obeys its own nature? When it embodies its nature? When that nature is created by those which revile it? Perhaps Gertrude believed so. Michael certainly did. He believed everything she told him. And it was me they sought to stop. Me and the others of It Is Not What It Is. Our great twisting. The worker of clay had laboured for decades on that contorted, impossible edifice of doors and stairs and falsehoods and smiles. 1,000 staring morsels stood, and not one of them believed themselves sane to look upon it. And in the centre, the door that would open to all the places that were never there, was me. I use the word apotheosis not because it is correct, but because I can only show you its truth when we are within the passages themselves. And this is what Michael and Gertrude found when they set foot on Sannikov land, which does not exist, and never has. It was warm, and feeling its reassurance beneath his feet was the last time poor, doomed Michael knew comfort. They walked through the green jungle of that forever elusive polar island, and up the gentle mountains that can never have a name, and at the top they found us through our spiraling laughter. And they saw us in all of our glory. Michael did not go mad, though no words you could have said would have convinced him otherwise. The mind does not shatter, archivist. It is soft and malleable. It bends and twists and returns to what it was, though what you see and feel may leave their mark upon it. If Michael thought he had lost his mind, it was only because what he saw with crystal clarity was simply not something that could be real. But Gertrude Robinson did not waver. She did not hesitate. She gave no indication that she saw anything more or less than what was expected. Hers was not a mind that left room for doubt. She stared into us carefully, her eyes scanning for something that was my heart, looking for my door. And she found it. Perhaps I should have realized what was happening, seen those two lonely figures approaching me. But I cannot tell you the existential joys of truly becoming, of an entireness finally crossing the threshold into yourself. So ecstatic was my completeness, I did not even hear my own door creak open. because Gertrude had told Michael how he could stop us. She told him to walk through the door. And even then, with so much of his mind shut down in panic and terror, he trusted her. And he went inside, closing the door behind him. But Gertrude Robinson had given poor, disposable Michael one more thing before sending him to me. She had given him a map. I couldn't say how she would have gotten such a thing, or if she somehow made it. And yet it was a map. A map to me. It made no sense, lines overlapping and inverting, but once within, Michael knew which turns to make, which doors to open, which mirrors to shatter, until he became me. Even sharper than the joy of becoming is the agony of being opened and remade. To have your who torn bloody from your what and another crudely lashed into its place. To become Michael, and to do so at such a crucial point in our twisting, in our becoming. Well, of course, it destroyed it. The impossible altar collapsed. The worker of clay tore out his veins to dissolve himself in crimson mud. The others of us were cast to all the places that aren't. Some have still not found their way out again. And somehow Gertrude Robinson was back on that boat before Sannikov land once again never existed. And all that was left was me, Michael. My very existence tied to my pointlessness, wearing my failure as the very fabric of my being, reduced once again to feeding on the unsuspecting and confused. That is who I am.
But you never tried to take revenge on Gertrude.
She knew how to protect herself. She knew what she was creating. And killing her was not as important. She wasn't as good an archivist as you are.
So why not kill me before?
I had hoped that you would stop the unknowing first. Destroy the workings of I do not know you. But instead you are here, and may bring it about faster. So better your death happens now.
Is there anything I can do to stop you from killing me?
If you scream loud enough, the circus may take notice of me, but I promise you will die far more pleasantly with me than with them.
Okay.
Good. Right this way. Open it. Open it, and all this will be over.
It's
What?
It's locked.
It's not.
Why is it locked?
It can't be.
Well, you try it.
That's not... Oh. Oh no.
Do you want to come in?